Hi, this is Chris Poland, and you're watching ForGuitarPlayersOnly.com.
Hi everyone, John Liebman here. You're watching ForGuitarPlayersOnly.com. We're coming to you on location, Nashville, Tennessee, outside the Nashville, what's it called? Convention Center, whatever it is, where the Summer NAMM Show is. 2017 Summer NAMM Show with our special guest today, Mr. Chris Poland. How are you, Chris?
I'm good, John. How are you?
I am great. It's so good to see you and good to meet you, and I've followed your playing, and they've all known about you for so long, and I've known about you for so long. So I'm privileged to have this opportunity to sit down for a short one-on-one conversation. We can talk about Megadeth, we can talk about what you're doing now, and all kinds of other stuff, but let's start from the beginning. You are from Buffalo.
I'm outside of Buffalo. I'm from a city called Dunkirk. And Fredonia State University was right next door, and they had a lot of music going on there, and I think that's where me and Gar kind of caught on to all different kinds of styles of music. So there's a lot of jazz, a lot of rock. Billy Sheehan used to play the Caboose, I think it was called. So we saw him before, he became super famous.
But did you have a musical family, parents, brothers, sisters, records playing, radio,
I did. My sisters listened to a lot of R&B. And a lot of pop music. But my mom was a classically trained opera singer, and for some reason she also knew how to play guitar. And I had a plastic guitar, but my sister and me got in a fight, and she broke it over my head or something like that. And so
is that why you have to wear a hat? Huh?
Yeah. So they bought me a little Hawaiian 6-string acoustic, and my mom taught me this old hammer and all these old blues.
You're about how old at this point?
Oh my God, maybe 9,
okay,
10. And so I just started playing. And then they bought me an electric guitar, and then I joined my first band, Pegasus. And by then we were doing Allman Brothers and Santana and Street Corner Talkin' from Savoy Brown, stuff off that record.
Brown.
Yeah, man, we were pretty cool.
Did you do a song called Train to Nowhere?
No, I think we did Street Corner Talkin'.
Okay.
Was the one we did from that record.
Savoy Brown, I haven't thought about them in years.
They were a good blues band.
Yeah.
And then, from there, I met Gar. And then me and Gar started doing instrumental stuff with his brother Stu. We were doing Billy Cobham covers and Return to Forever, and then we started writing our own stuff, and then we
That's some pretty advanced stuff.
Well, that's what we wanted to do. And then one day we got a wild hair and decided to go to LA, and so we moved out there and started playing together and got a horn section. Luckily Stu knew how to write music, and he would write all the horn parts out. And that, we did that for 4 years, got a big following. And then Gar met, Jay Jones was our manager, and he also managed Megadeth at the time. And Dave needed a drummer, so Jay grabbed Gar, and then Gar said, "Hey dude, you need to join this band." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll come down and see you." So I saw him play at a place at the time was a place called the Waters Club, and I saw him play 3-piece, and I realized that they needed a second guitar player. So Dave and Dave both worked at a place called Mars Rehearsal Studios. So I went down. Gar said, "Just rent a room, come down and play guitar for an hour, and I guarantee Dave will ask you to join the band."
Dave or David?
Dave Mustaine. So I'm playing, got my stuff on 10, playing for an hour. I hear a knock at the door, and it's the two Daves. And Mustaine's like, "Hey, man, you want to join Megadeth?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's why I'm here." And
this would have been about what year?
Late 86.
Okay.
And the rest is history with that.
And you were with Megadeth for how long?
The first 2 records, and then 7 years ago I did The System Has Failed. I was very interested in doing that because Vinnie Colaiuta played drums on it, and I was like, I definitely want to do that.
Oh yeah.
And it was fun. It was a fun project.
What can you tell us about Megadeth that we might not know that you'd be willing to share with everybody?
God, I think everybody already knows everything. Between the books and the gossip and the arrest records.
Yeah. Okay.
But that was a great time. I mean, there was good times and bad times, but we were doing cutting edge stuff, man. Nobody was doing what we were doing, and I'm just glad that Dave let Gar play the way he played, because Gar didn't play like anybody back then. So it gave Megadeth its own, niche.
Let's fast forward to today, because I know you're keeping busy with some special projects. Tell us about those.
Yeah. I'm doing a project with Redemption again. I played on their last record, and Nick Van Dyke came to our last gig at the Baked Potato and said, "Hey man, let's do another one." And I said, "Okay." So sometime in the next 3 weeks, I'm going to start recording stuff for that record. But my main project is the Ohm project with Robbie Pagliari, and we're somehow we got 2 days at Lukather's Steakhouse Studios for 2 8-hour blocks, and so we're thinking about going in there and making a live record, because it's the Abbey Road board, and we just feel like if it's going to sound good anywhere, it's going to sound good there. So.
You're thinking about it? I think you're planning on it. I hope you're planning on it. Tell me a little bit about your equipment.
I'm still using the Egnator. I use an Egnator Red Face IE4. And I bought a couple dent and scratch DSL 100H Marshalls. And I put some new transformers and a choke. A Marshall without a choke transformer just doesn't work. So first thing I did was put the choke in, and I realized that it was a really good amp. So I changed the output transformer to a classic tone. I used classic tone for both transformers. It made all the difference in the world, so I'm super happy with my tone right now. That's why I'm super excited I'm really excited about doing a live record, because I can do it now.
Yeah, good.
Without turning around and looking at my rig all night.
And you were showing me inside the special configuration.
Oh yeah, Stone Tone makes granite blocks that go on locking tremolo systems, and brass was all the rage for like 5 years, and then one time Rob decided, you know what, he started out on grand pianos, and he started putting his granite on the soundboards of grand pianos, and it was making such a huge difference that he started building guitars with granite in them. And then he came up with the block idea, and that totally took off, and now everybody uses the block.
Wow. I would think
what it does is it adds sustain, and it almost adds this kind of crazy bloom compression that is hard to describe, but if you're a guitar player, everybody knows you want that.
I'm thinking, aren't pianos heavy enough already without putting granite in them? But yeah. Did you mention guitar? What kind of guitars you're playing?
Oh yeah, I play Schecter. I have a model from Schecter called the Poltergeist that I'm very happy with. Yeah. Old Gibson scale, large frets. I'm about to get a pickup endorsement, so I'm going to change my pickup line, but the custom wound Schecter pickups are as good as anybody, whether they're John Suhr or anybody.
Tell me about the future after you get through with this live album and the other things that you mentioned. What else would you like to do that you just haven't gotten around to yet?
Well, Gene McEwen is our new drummer, and we're breaking Gene in and writing material. We always write material. It's like it's always happening. So just keep writing tunes and try and get out on the road more and just have fun playing.
There you go. Last question, Chris. What would you be if you can imagine if you weren't a guitar player? Something outside of music.
Wow, that's hard. I don't know. I like to work with my hands. I would probably build stuff, whether it be guitars or buildings or,
Guitars or buildings. All right. I'm glad things worked out the way they did, but, it's always good to have options. Well, we are on location outside the Music City Center, I think is what it's called, for Summer NAMM 2017 with our good friend Chris Poland.
Thank you, John.
Chris, thank you very much, Chris. I am John Liebman. You're watching for GuitarPlayersOnly.com.